my fellow Americans. This is former President Barack Hussein Obama, and you're listening to the Mad Titan Podcast. Please be sure to support this young brother from Chicago, Jay Washington, because he's a funny bastard. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It is episode 69 of the Mad Titan Podcast. I'm your director, Mr. Jay Washington. I want to say I almost giggled when I said 69 because I'm a big ass kid at heart, and just to hear it like 69, 69, like I almost did that. But thank you, everybody, that checked out episode 68 and gave all the feedback with the homie BT Kingsley. Man, that was a good episode, and everybody talking about that Black Widow theory, which still had me fucking thinking about it to this day. Right before I recorded it. If you haven't checked that out, I highly advise you go check that out. Also, I know it's a little bit late. You guys normally get this on a Thursday, but here's a couple of reasons why I didn't get this out to you in time. So, number one, San Diego Comic-Con at home is happening. And I know that DC is not having a presence there at all, but I knew there were a couple of Marvel things happening. And just in case anything else was going to pop up, I wanted to make sure I had everything I needed for y'all to cover for y'all. So I didn't have to record this episode, then come back a week later with all the late shit and be that dude, or do a special episode via Patreon. And all y'all ain't members of the squad yet, which you should be, because like it's only $5 support and you become a producer and you could put that on your resume or some shit like that. So, I mean, I wanted to wait on that. Also, I mentally was going through something because of the whole COVID-19 thing. And here's why. Everybody knows on here, I've been very transparent and real with y'all. So I've known people, friends and associates who have had this virus. I know people who have dealt with it. But I just found out the other day it has hit my family and hit me very, very close. And so it really had me scrambled for a second. Now, granted, if you know me, you know I'm a religious man, a spiritual man. I stay prayed up. So I believe God has everything worked out in his will and his way. So I'm not going to let it, hamper and harp on me heavily. But it did catch me for a second. But we're here. We finna do this. Nonetheless, we're going to have fun. And this week on the show, I've been trying to get this dude on here for a second. He hollers. He like to holler, he a nerd and shit like that when we on Facebook talking. But I watch what he saying. We're having some good discussions about some things. And I've been trying to get him on there. He's actually trying to get me on his joint as well, the Showtime with Kevin and Cory podcast, man. But it's the homie Cory Showtime Robinson. What's happening, bro?
What's going on, brother? Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, man, listen, I'm all about reaching out to black people, and especially those of the darker complexion. Let me just make that sound real racist real fast.
Exactly.
I mean, because I've had white people on here, light-skinned people. Straight to the point. Like, everybody knows I keep everybody on here. If you're able to have this conversation right, you know what I'm saying? I've had people on here who, like, they're like, I want to do the podcast, and then you have them on here, and they're boring as shit. And I'm like, oh, fam, I can't do this.
In Jay's defense, though, him reaching out to the darkest black people possible is a lighting issue. So it's not racism, it's physics.
I mean, I just want them to know, just because they ain't gonna see us anywhere. We're doing this. Everybody does things through StreamYard now because social distancing. And also, I'm 2,000 miles away at the moment, so it really wouldn't help. Like, hey man, can you get on a plane real quick?
I'm not about that. Getting on plane life right now. I don't want to be stuck in an aluminum box breathing in everybody's air.
Let me tell you something. It depends on the airline and the flights. Cause flying Southwest, they ain't let no middle seats happen, fam. Like ain't no middle seats. They didn't cut off how many people be on the plane. I was like, y'all make me feel comfortable in life.
Dude, you know what I feel is like one of the best travel situations you can get is when you're flying coach, but it's like a red eye or something. So you get like, and it's undersold, so you get the whole row to yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God. But the only time that don't work.
Yeah, I call that flying middle class.
Let me tell you something. The only time that don't work is when you're flying a red eye from either LA to New York or New York to LA. That is the only time it never happens. You can fly a red eye damn near anywhere else, and you'll catch that middle seat life. You know what I'm saying? You'll catch that middle class life, shall I say? You'll catch that empty row life.
The middle seat, just the middle seat is great. Like like when you got one person in that's next to you, and you just both decide, okay, cool, we're gonna both use this to have a little extra. Yeah, but like when you got the whole row,
bro, that stretch out the legs and go to sleep. Oh man, about that life.
And if they giving away free cookies, man, I just got a first class ticket for $88.
and it wasn't Spirit, nigga. What? But before we get into the show, real quick, man, people who don't know about you, because again, this may be a lot of people's first time hearing you. You're a stand-up comic. You're originally from the Bay Area, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you're a crazy ass Lakers fan for some weird God unknown reason, but you know, we all have our faults. You know, I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan, so we have our faults. Bro, condolences to the 19 tight ends. I'm sorry, 18. We got rid of one yesterday. 18 tight ends that we have on the Bears.
I thought he was gonna say titles. I was like, ooh, man.
let's not do that. Can we not? Let's not play that game because that hurts. That hurts. Let's not play that game. So tell people a little bit about you, man. What saying the stand-up life and everything else you got going on.
Yeah, well, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm an aspiring actor. And my opening joke is all that means when you live in LA, that means you're an Uber driver. But I'm out here hustling, trying to make this thing happen. You know, I got the Showtime Kev podcast streaming on Twitch and whatnot. And just a big nerd trying to make my jokes heard, you know.
Bro, I'm with you, man. Like everybody knows, you know me, how I'm doing 1,000,009 different things. Yes. Like when people be like, "Yo, you going home? You going to rest and relax, right? You going to get away and just recharge?" I'd be like, "Shit, I'm working right now on the weekend. I'm about to record." I had to record one of the one-on-one with the supervillain I do for people at my $25 and up tier on Patreon. I recorded one of those late last night. I'm about to record another one in a couple of hours after this. So it's like working, and I still got to edit shit. So it's like I don't stop working in between here, the acting thing, because again, even though, you know, productions are slowly coming back, you auditioning for a bunch of shit, voiceover, everything. Man, look, it's nonstop, bro. So I get it. I know the grind. I see you work consistently. I see you busting your ass a lot of times. I want to be like, just put me in your back pocket. I see you just did a social distancing comedy show. I was like, man, this nigga lucky. Like, this is on the jump.
Another one tonight, actually. Man, it's a Zoom show. Another Zoom.
You know what? I've done the Zoom shows. Zoom shows, it's weird. They weird. They hella weird.
They're different. Sorry.
It's no. You good because you're right. That's why I didn't say anything. That's why I'm about to take a sip of my drink because I'm like, you're right. They're different.
Yeah, they're different. They're like, it's hard to get your rhythm because you're not actually there. You're waiting for people to. It's pretty much instant. Like, you know, it's not like you got to wait for like a tape delay or anything like that. But it's like the show I just did this past week. Like it was so well run in the background. They had like two moderators. They made sure everybody went through a sound check and they turned off the background shit and whatnot. And like they had like I guess they had the right people unmuted to where like when I got like when the punchline hit, like you got the same laugh and you had enough time to like, oh shit, I can take a break and move in. So you get the same rhythm, but it's not the same because you don't get that same personal thing. Like I did a social distancing like corporate gig, like in person.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah. That was everybody had their masks on. It was real respectful and whatnot, but it's still like you can't shake hands. Like I had merch I wanted to give, but like I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. So it was just like, what can you do? You know?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I do a social distancing outdoor show and I'm selling merch. Let me tell you how I'm gonna make sure I sell my merch. Number one, you're gonna see me spraying myself with hand sanitizer like perfume, nigga. I'm spraying I'm shaking it over myself. Secondly, I got my own can of Lysol I brought with me. You know what I'm saying? A can of Lysol is here to disinfect my aura, just so you know we all good. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into what this is about. Like for those who are new to the show, I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It is barbershop talk for nerds. So if you're about to be in your feelings about anything, please know this ain't the place for you because I don't give a shit. If you're about to get hurt about some things, I might say, oh well, that's on you. You might want to check your life.
Do you promote herbal holistic.
Hey, bro, if you feel like smoking weed and getting high on the show, please smoke weed. I got to stay focused. Now, go ahead and roll up one and smoke. Please do what you got to do, my brother, while he fires up his bomb. Y'all can't see it, but like he was like, hey, man, are you against me smoking weed? Let me tell you something. That's like people who come on the show and be like, hey, do I got to stay clean? Can I not cuss? I'll be like, say what the fuck you want. As long as you make it count.
It's just a matter of like I might as well ask first. It's like, okay, well, then if you can muffle this in post.
Nigga, I'm not gonna do that much editing, as much weed as I know niggas smoke. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Some just edited in post. Niggas, what's that gurgling? What do you think is gurgling?
Being fucking respectful, nigga. All right, let's get on the show. Go.
So kicking it off, as I brought up earlier with San Diego Comic-Con at home, the New Mutants panel happened this past Thursday, and of course it was pre-recorded and it was hosted. It was moderated by my homie Ira Madison III. I got a chance to meet Ira and work with him when we did the Strong Black Lead, Black Comics, talking about Black comics and Black characters for Netflix when we did that. So I connected with Ira, super cool dude. And they were, first of all, the cast and director Josh Boone, they joked about the amount of delays that this movie has had, which, yeah, I think it's been 3 years now almost from the time the movie is shot to this point. And so they were talking about what we can expect to see. But one of the main things I caught from that was two things. One, the story for the movie is the Demon Bear saga, which I'm like, yes, at least we know exactly where you're going with it. You know how horrific you're finna get with the Demon Bear saga. I'm cool. Two, we also found out that they are definitely doing the Rain and Danny Moonstar relationship. So Maisie Williams' character of Rain and Blue Hunt's character of Danny Moonstar, they are going to do their relationship that builds throughout it, which is dope. It's, again, taken straight from the page of the comics and brought right to real life. I'm fine with all that. Here was the one thing about the panel that, upset me personally. I was under the belief that, like, yo, with all this shit going on, there's no way this movie's coming out in theaters anytime soon. They're going to announce that after this panel, it's available to view, video on demand. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that. They instead said it's still coming out theatrically August the 28th in the year of our Lord 2020. Nigga, what? No.
Where, though? Like, where is it going to release?
That's what I'm saying. They say it's a theatrical release. The only way it can release theatrically August 28th is overseas, because domestically it cannot do it.
That was going to be my next question, because like here nothing's open. So like, are in other countries, is there a big enough box office even for it to bother? I mean, you got to get your money. That's the same way as like the NBA trying to have the season no matter what. But it's like, are you really that dependent on the distribution? Like, I don't know.
Well, it's the thing is, so again, it's not owned by 20th Century Fox anymore. It's owned by Disney. This is no loss to Disney no matter what. Right? Disney don't give a fuck. So you have it where it's not a loss. Now, a lot of people keep talking about this whole, it's contractually obligated because of it being Fox. It's contractually obligated to come out in theaters and then go video on demand to HBO Max. Well, here's what I keep trying to get people to understand. This is when the contract was owned by 20th Century Fox and they were the owners of the company. Contracts change consistently. You in business too, my mans, you know this. When companies are bought out by other companies, a lot of contracts become null and void.
And then you renegotiate.
I
figured that's why this was taking so long.
Right. I don't think people get this. I don't think people understand that just because it was this situation with Fox, that means it has to come out. Now, I know some people will say, well, what about Dark Phoenix? Dark Phoenix was already in the works. That was a thing. But now this whole acquisition and takeover is done. Again, no New Mutants has come out. And so, of course, if you're Disney, granted, yes, you still have Dark Phoenix and a couple of other properties that are either Fox or Disney on other platforms. But you're going to do what you can now for new properties henceforth to come to your platform and nowhere else, or something you control. So I don't think people get that. And it was kind of frustrating to an extent, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, y'all don't get it. Shit don't stay the same. Like, as a nigga with a business degree, I think that's what got me the most. I'm like, I'm trying to tell y'all how business actually works.
Yeah. So, but what are they actually trying to, like, what are they trying to accomplish by having it theatrically when they can't have it in America, though? Like,
just making some money. So at the end of the day, Disney just wants to make some money off of it.
So what they're going to do is like release it where they can, and then when it runs its course in the play in whatever time that the contract says they have to do, then they'll put it to where we can see it.
Possibly, but I think that was one of the reasons. Because again, people forget this movie was supposed to be a rated R horror movie. That was one of the big draws about the New Mutants, that it was a rated.
The first time I saw the preview for it, I think I was watching like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or something like that, and or something probably earlier than that. And I was like, "Oh, that looks dope!" And I had no idea what I was really looking at. And it's supposed to be coming out now, and it's like, what took so long? And then you're telling me it's going to be a theatrical. It's like, okay.
Because no worries. Because it's like I told everybody, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be rated R. So if it's rated R, it's not going to Disney Plus. It's going to Hulu. And then people were like, no, they made it PG-13. Like people were in my replies, and I was like, yo, first of all, I didn't realize they changed the rating. Because if they changed the rating, that's letting you know they want it on Disney Plus. Changing it to PG-13 lets you know they want it on Disney Plus. They've already said no R-rated content will go to Disney Plus, no matter what. So that's letting you know what they want to do with it. Well, it has to go to HBO Max. If it was going to go to HBO Max, it would have stayed rated R.
Yeah.
It would have stayed. They would have never changed the rating. Yeah. But I mean, we'll see. Here's another interesting fact I just found out through an interview that director Josh Boone did with Collider, more than likely with my homie Frosty from Collider. The runtime of this movie is something hella interesting. Guess how long this movie is?
For it to be an issue, I'm gonna say 2.5 hours.
98 minutes.
Damn. Quick trip.
Quick trip. And I'm glad you brought that up, because you see, I was gonna say this earlier. We've gotten so accustomed to movies being 2.5, 3 hours, especially superhero movies. Mm-hmm. If it ain't 2 hours, we like, yo, it's gotta suck. Yeah. But we forget at one point in time, the standard for movies was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like you going to the theater was what's called a quick trip. You go in, watch the previews, watch the movie, boom, you gone.
Yeah. Well, most movies are 90 minutes, but like superhero movies particularly are always like an epic tale. So it's definitely 2 hours.
But they never used to be even just 2. They would hit 2, some might hit 2, some might barely hit 2. But 90 minutes could be a standard. Now, again, when it comes, like you just said, it's an epic tale when we're talking about a superhero movie. So, again, this can be looked at a couple of ways. This could be looked at either this shit sucks after editing because it's 98 minutes, or it's quick, concise, to the point, boom, less in and out.
True.
You know, so either or, but also, so everybody keeps talking about the reshoots. I was like, yo, y'all do realize the reshoots never happened. A lot of the reshoots never happened because of Maisie Williams' schedule. She had Game of Thrones. She couldn't do the reshoots.
Yeah.
So it's like, but again, we'll see August 28th, which is 3 days after my birthday, which means this should have never come out. So it still ain't coming out.
Who are all the New Mutants? Like, excuse me for being a new booty on this.
Like, no worries.
In this movie.
No worries. So they have, so it's Rain. I can't remember Rain's last name, played by Maisie Williams. She's playing Wolfsbane. Anya Taylor-Joy plays Ileana Rasputin, aka Magic. Charlie Heaton, who was on Stranger Things, who I didn't know was fucking British, plays Sam Guthrie, aka Cannonball.
They snuck another one in on us.
bro, let me tell you something. I have nothing against British actors, especially black British actors. The black actor, there's been this whole thing of black American actors versus black British actors. And it's like, all right, if you can work, you can work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get a bunch of British actors coming over here playing American roles. Are you saying that Americans can't play themselves?
Right? Come on, man. Like if he was going to be talking about this inclusion, like you can't have this person play this person. Like, hey, can you have an American black person play an American black person once?
I don't know if you ever see. There's a sketch they did on Key and Peele where they are actors in a movie, and Jordan is playing this actual thug nigga in the movie. Keegan plays a British nigga playing a thug. The director keeps telling Jordan he's not being thug enough, and Keegan is like, "Well, how about you do it this way?" And he keeps doing it. Jordan is like, yo, I was in the streets. I was in a gang. They made me kill my cousin. Like actual,
like a Mike Tyson tattoo.
Yes, like everything. And it got to the point where Jordan's character stabs the director, and the director's like, I'm really not feeling that. Like, it's just how it's being shown. And so, like you say, it's like they sneak another one in. But he's playing Cannonball, and Henry Zaga is playing Sunspot.
Okay. Oh.
So it's not, so it's a nice little cast. And Elise Braga is playing the Dr. Reyes in the movie. So I am waiting. I want to see it. I still want to see it regardless, but we'll see what happens with it. Let's go on to other movie delay news. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Far From Home sequel is either going to be Spider-Man blank home or Spider-Man home blank something. They say home is going to be in the title. Spider-Man, there's no Spider-Man, there's no place like home. Spider-Man home sweet home, home on the range.
Spider-Man home run when he tries out for the baseball team.
You know what I'm saying? Something like that, right? But it's been delayed to December 2021. Now, here's the thing with its delay. It's not a major delay because it was originally going to come out November 2021. It's only been pushed back a month. And this is in response to Disney reshuffling their slate again. Because like all the avatars and got moved and all this, and of course the whole pandemic and everything that's going on with the movie theaters, like we brought up earlier, nothing's coming out this year. So like the earliest we'll see movies is maybe February, and I think February we'll start seeing movies in theaters.
Hey, real quick, something I've been like saying a lot recently. It's gonna be a minute before you can buy a ticket to anything, like a concert, a movie, anything. Like the whole idea of selling tickets, being around a crowd. Being in an area for an event is kind of done till next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At least this year is almost done with. I mean, we're in the 7th month of the year going into the 8th. So, like, I mean, it seemed like it's been longer.
Yeah, as a comic, I done had everything just like I'm treating it like I'm a running back to towards ACL. It's like, you know what? I'm out. Okay, I'm a rehab. Be ready.
Man, if I'd have known this as a pro wrestler, I'd have got all the surgeries I needed done right now. Like,
my shoulder has been giving me an issue. I might as well go get that fixed.
Might as well go get this fixed. Oh, what you say? I need a new ankle? Let me get 2 ankles, a shoulder, and while you in there, can you clean off this back fat that I can't get rid of, even no matter how hard I'm working?
Remember when LeBron pulled his groin last season or season before last?
Season before last.
Yeah, like when he started like showing up with wine and shit, that's me right now. Like, oh yeah, how you? I'm still in it, but I'm out.
Let's see, you niggas is working, just sipping shit. In more Disney MCU news, Miss Marvel is set to begin shooting in November in Atlanta, Georgia. Now we still don't know who's gonna play Miss Marvel. Excuse me, but also they say even though her show is set to shoot in November. It will wrap in March of 2021. We won't see her on the screen as far as her show for a while, but there's the possibility she may show up in another MCU project before then. Now, here's what's dope about just that statement in itself. When you used to hear an MCU project, it meant a movie, right? But with the Disney Plus shows, we know that they're part of the MCU. So she can show up somewhere else first and foremost. So what's your thoughts on that?
I love the fact in general that Marvel has an all-inclusive type universe. Like they have an MCU, like all these movies and shows are some way interrelated, and they write around that. That at least that in itself shows a level of creativity and like attention to detail that Hollywood generally doesn't do. So even when Marvel's movies suck, they still put in more effort than most. You know what I mean? So, but as far as Miss Marvel, like that's a different one from
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel is Kamala Khan.
That's the one from the video game, right? Or the one the video game is coming out.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we still don't know. And we still don't know who playing her. Like, we don't know who's playing her. We don't know who playing Moon Knight. Like, we know all this shit come. We don't know who playing She-Hulk, which Allison Brie was like, yo, why don't y'all just go ahead and cast me? Because for She-Hulk, they were like, we're looking for an Allison Brie type. And Allison Brie was like, nigga, me. Like,
who is Gina Carano in the MCU?
She was just Angel in Deadpool, but I don't know if you would count, like, again, with it's Fox.
I'm curious like what that character even was, because like that was a strong ass chick. Would that be able to slide that around the same way you do? Like, hey, I used to be the
Green Lantern, and now I'm Deadpool.
Or I used to be the Human Torch, and now
Captain America
or Killmonger.
Yeah, or Killmonger, right? Right. I mean, they could. I don't know for She-Hulk. My only thing is Gina Carano has the look. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she got the chops to carry a whole series because as She-Hulk, she's the star of the show. This is her show.
Well, who's a buff enough actress to do it then?
Well, nigga, listen, that's what gyms and trainers are for.
I know, but who are we gonna beef up? Like Margot Robbie can only do so much.
Yeah, this is Charlize Theron as well, and she ain't going to the MCU at all. She's not going, but she don't need to. At the end of the, she's one of those people that's like, I would love to see her, but she don't need to. You know what I'm saying? So who would you be?
Like, what's her name's already Valkyrie.
Tessa Thompson is Valkyrie. Yeah, who would you be? Man, it's gonna be a white chick first and foremost. Yeah. So you got to think white actresses.
But who's a big, like, there's got to be a big, tall, like, Amazonian woman.
Well, here's the thing. I think, here's the catch with that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to
they can't all be wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Well, here's why I bring this up. This is why I bring this up. Hear me out on this one. Mm-hmm. Jennifer Walters, her alter ego is like a regular chick before she becomes She-Hulk, this massive, bulking, hulking chick. So you literally can, as long as you have two women who look similar, like you can have one who's the bigger one. It doesn't have to be a wrestler, of course, but you can have someone who's bulky enough who can act. But then you have whoever's going to be Jennifer Walters in her regular form be somebody. I don't know. I mean, it's options. I just don't want to see a feel. I just don't.
I'm sorry. If you're just gonna CGI like what she is in the Hulk form, then you can do what like they did with Mark Ruffalo.
And that's what I just was about to go to. Unless they decide to CGI like, because I mean, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is not bad. The way they do his Hulk is not bad. Mm-hmm. But also, She-Hulk posts to fuck a lot. So this is just.
I have an idea. How about I keep forgetting her name. Game of Thrones chick, Khaleesi.
To be Emilia Clarke, to be Jennifer Walters, and then She-Hulk. I mean, I'm trying to picture it.
I mean, you said you need someone that's got TV chops. She's got some chops.
Yeah.
Season 8 was not her fault at all.
and she's been in action movies because she's been in that Terminator one, the one that we act like never existed.
I don't think that was her fault either. Wait, listen, babe. This shouldn't have been written. It's not your fault. You did the best you could
with what was given to you.
Val Kilmer right now. Like, this is Val Kilmer's Batman. Like, you're really trying. I see
it. Until they gave that nigga them beady eyes and the mask at one time. Look, let's go. One more MCU story, Marvel story I got for y'all. WandaVision. It's been told now it's going to be based on the Avengers Vision Quest story. Now, for those who don't remember that is in the comic books, it's where Wanda goes around the world to put the pieces of Vision back together. Now, if you remember what happened to Vision in Infinity War when he got fucked up, like
she didn't get to come back.
Like that nigga was.
She's after the snap, everybody's like, "Yay!" She's like, "What?"
She like, but my robot nigga ain't back yet. Like, y'all help me out real quick. My robot nigga ain't here. Like
circuitry, y'all shit.
Well, that nigga got a whole chunk. Here's the thing: we got to remember, Thanos took 3 fingers, which in the average person is probably 2-3 hands. That nigga took 3 fingers and probed the whole middle of his skull. The whole frontal lobe of his skull was like, let me get a little bit of all of that. Thank you.
Keep in mind, Vision is made of vibranium.
Which again, the most indestructible metal on the planet. This nigga took 3 fingers. 3.
Yeah.
But also, this is the same nigga that gave the Hulk the business in the beginning of the movie after letting the Hulk play around thinking he was the shit. Because remember, when Cole Obsidian was gonna stop him, Ebony Maw was like, no, let him have his fun. Let him hit him before.
I personally feel like Vision got done so dirty in the entire Infinity War saga. Well, not the saga, just the last two movies. Like, he was such a more powerful being than what he was able to show. Like I took my girlfriend to see both of those, and she was like, "Damn, he's kind of a bitch." I was like,
well, here's the lesson of the movie for Vision. All right,
made out of metal.
Here's the lesson for Vision when it came to Infinity War and Endgame. And all right, people are going to be a little bit upset about this when you hear this, but please trust me on this statement, okay? Pussy will get you killed because here's why. Here's why I say this. If Vision would have took his ass back home like he was supposed to, when Captain America and Widow was like, "Yo, you supposed to come back to the crib," and he was like, "How about I miss the train? I don't go home." And then first he got his ass prison shanked. You know, saying by Corbin's Glaive, he got his ass
in this movie though. Like, how many times? Like, every time Vision gets shanked, you will get more than a nice buzz. Like, you won't be able to drive home.
First, he got prison shanked, right? Then while he holding his side like Joey Greco on the boat on Cheaters when he got stabbed, like a bleeding. So, right, you get this.
Go take a look at this right here. Right?
What you look? Get off my boat. I want you. No, look right here. Get off my boat. Giggity, giggity, and he stabbed the shit out of him. So
the cameraman in the water.
so you get Vision getting the shit stabbed out of him. Then you got him laying on the operating table. They're like, well, why don't we just pull this shit out of his head? Take this nigga to Wakanda. He think he gonna be all right. They throw this nigga outside, right? When they come in then you get this motherfucker, a giant, massive, steroid-ridden Grimace takes 3 fingers and just goes in the front of your skull and just you ain't even dead. Here's the problem. You all the way alive when this shit happens. So your face is like, ah! And then so then you think it's good because you think shit happens. You forget this Thanos nigga can turn back time. So not only did you die once, you had to, first of all, I'm sorry, you didn't die that way the first time. First, your bitch killed you because she was like, I'm going to blow up this shit in your head. And then the last words you're going to say is, I love you. Pussy will get you killed. And so then after you get blown up, the nigga Thanos is like, it ain't that easy, fam. This nigga turned back time like he Cher. Once he turned back time, now you got to remember you were blown the fuck up. But also, now this nigga digs in your skull. Pussy will get you killed.
I'm trying to look up the Mortal Kombat fatality when the dude just keeps killing him, bringing him back, and killing him, and bringing him back.
Oh my God, that's just cruelty.
I was trying to find it fast enough to share it.
I just forget you, but I'm just saying. So, I mean, but the thing is, she's supposed to go through time to get pieces of it back. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's go over to my DC news. So the first DC news story, I'm glad I got Cory on the line to talk to me about this. So Ray Fisher is upset that his barber didn't receive theatrical credit in Justice League. Now, this is an interesting subject for a lot of people who may not be wondering what it is. Let me break it down.
Before you even say anything, Ray Fisher is the brother, right?
Yes, he is.
Like, before you even said anything else, I'm already knowing this is a brother. Like, this is an incident that only a black man would bring up.
This is what he tweeted on July 21st. He said, despite my asking on multiple occasions, my barber, Wayne Nembard, was not credited in any capacity for his work on the theatrical version of Justice League. Wayne worked with us for the entire principal photography process, 8 months, and the majority of the reshoots. Wayne took whatever time was asked of him away from his successful business, a unisex barber salon called Extreme Cuts in St. Albans, UK, to work with us. To my knowledge, he was the only black man to ever grace the hair and makeup trailer. It broke my heart, as I know it did Wayne's, to watch the credits roll and not see his name appear in any way. When Zach told me about the Snyder Cut being released, I only had one request, that Wayne be given credit for his work. Zach was shocked that Wayne wasn't credited in the theatrical version and assured me that Wayne would be absolutely given credit in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's not just about a movie. These things go deeper than artistic aesthetic. Accountability is greater than entertainment. Now, I don't think people outside of film and TV understand this. Having a black barber or stylist on set is a big thing because black hair is not easily done with unless somebody who knows how to do it. And also, black people don't typically trust anybody but a black stylist or barber to do their hair and know how to do their hair.
May I interject?
Yes, you may, sir.
I've realized this is actually more of a cultural thing, not just with black people, specifically with us though. But like everybody kind of trusts their own race to do that because everybody's hair is different based on your ethnicity. And that's
very fair, very true. Yes.
Like I had an Asian woman do my hair one time, and that was the worst mistake. And I went from like,
first of all, I want to stop right here and interject. I want to interject your interjection because people can't see you. Cory got dreads. Okay, there we go.
Right? It was a long time ago. She was supposed to do my fade. So I was just keep it short. And she fucked it up. You know what I mean? So I had to go, and by the time I fixed it, I look like you do right now. But the reason you got to go to someone that's either your race or definitely in your culture is because they got to understand what you're looking for. And that's not even a racial thing. That's just a bit. So like when we said a brother, like, hey, I need this credit on this thing. Like at first I was like, that sounds like something a nigga would say. But then you're like, he's being left off. I was like, damn, it really does sound like something they would do to a black person.
Yeah, because again, people may say, well, it's just a name in the credits, but I don't think people understand what that does for that barber's credibility.
Builds your resume.
It builds your resume.
Yeah, I've worked on hair, and you're eligible for like say that thing wins an Oscar or something. Then you're an award-winning hair and makeup. Whatever.
Then you're an award-winning barber. Yeah. You're an Oscar award, even no matter whatever film it is, if it wins for that category, you're an award-winning stylist. And there are many times you have black actors, men and women, who bring their own barbers and stylists to set because they do not trust anybody else. Now, when I worked on Chirac, of course there were black barbers and black beauticians on set. Like it is what it was. Like you finna get a black barber. Like my homie, like the homie JB Bivens was hooking us all up, like linings and everything. Like niggas was making sure they didn't shave on purpose because we knew we was going to work. we was gonna get hooked up.
Real quick aside. I've noticed on ESPN now that they don't have, because I'm one of those who just wake up and have that shit. If Stephen A. Smith isn't screaming at me for 30 minutes, I can't start my day. It's like my coffee.
I don't blame you. Makes sense.
Yeah. And like I just been like I turned on the like Dan Levitard and shit. I'm like, ooh man, y'all are missing your stylists, man. Those this is
those at-home lineups thinking that be off. Because I think we all have that. Every man has that problem thinking we trying to get that. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When you see commercials and you see a dude with a razor and his shit is straight and even, he didn't do that. Okay, he didn't do. That shit was pre-done, and they just said, "Just go here with it."
The best you can hope for an at-home lineup is a clean ass this one and a clean ass this one, but not a clean ass these. That's never that. We'll get this like, from whatever side you get, like, ooh, that looks nice. Ooh, that looks nice. This is a little off. Like,
but wait, after you turn your face from side to side and turn your face straight, you'd be like, well, shit, this one like an inch higher. You're like, what the hell? But so I kind of get why he wants the credit for it. Now, a lot of people are going to keep saying that Ray Fisher is just a troublemaker. But what I think he's doing is actually, like you said, accountability is greater than entertainment. And this also goes back to Joss Whedon now. This goes back to who he is because, again, everybody that's listed in the credits is his responsibility.
Yeah.
It's his responsibility as the director because, again, when you're in the editing bay, you're making sure they're putting the credits down so they roll. You're told, like, all right, all these people need to be in. And so if there's an omission, you can't tell me that the one black barber is omitted is just a mistake. if you got everybody else that's in the hair and makeup team acknowledged.
And why is it like, even if it is a mistake, you can't afford for that to happen in this day and age because it's been too many times.
Way
like,
too many.
Constantly that guy. Come on, bro. Even if he was like the last person and you didn't get his paperwork in, you better figure it out.
You better make sure, like, right, you better scramble, be like, hey, look, if they can re-edit cats to take assholes out, they can re-edit a theatrical version to put a name in.
Yeah. They took out Superman's mustache.
They took out, but this thing, the difference is Superman's mustache never hit the screens. I'm using cats as in there was assholes in the first screenings of Cats. Then they sat there and took the edits out, took the assholes out, and resent the movie. You couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we'll just see how that plays along. Black Adam they say Black Adam won't begin shooting until 2021. Duh. Like The Rock now wants to hurry up and do this movie, but I mean, bro, nothing's gonna shoot. Like it wasn't because it was supposed to come out 2021 next year. That's what it was supposed to come out December 21st, 2021. Because it was expected to begin shooting this year, but of course, everything that's happening, that's not going to happen. So now it'll more than likely be given a 2022 date, which is, again, at this point, bro, I'm not upset.
Yeah,
I'm not. Because I'm like, yo,
anything move until next year because like the cooties is out there. Like
my nigga said the cooties. I'm done. My nigga said the cooties is out here.
It is what it is. It's killing people, bro. Like I don't know what else to say. Like what else can you call something that you don't know how you gonna get it, and once you get it, it could kill you.
You got cooties. Ooh.
That's what we thought it was when we was kids.
It was really a form of the coronavirus. We didn't know what it was. We just called it cooties. Yeah, now we know. Now niggas know.
Until I was 8 years old. No, about 8 to 12 years old, girls had cooties.
Yep. Now we know it's cooties. But so yeah, that's that. And also in my last bit of DC news that I have, the DC CW shows are set to begin production in Vancouver this September. That's because Canada ain't playing no fucking games with y'all. So what they're doing is they're flying all of the cast members and the crews up 2 weeks early before they're set to do anything, so they can quarantine the 14 days, which is mandatory in Canada. Like they're not playing no games with you. They making sure you quarantine it.
Yes.
So what you say?
Especially from America.
Oh, for sure. So, you from here, they making sure. Look, they probably bring you off the plane with pistols. Welcome to Canada, Ed. Follow us. Like we're 16.
How ironic is it that like we go from having bans on countries to now countries are banning
us?
Like you can't come here, and they're like fucking great.
Bro, like can you imagine everybody that went and got a US passport at the beginning of the year was like, man, I'm gonna travel the world 2020, and now your passport is literally just a paperweight.
Yeah, I need to get mine renewed, but not really.
I was gonna buy. So I didn't have my passport. I was gonna buy my passport this year because for my birthday this year, I was going to go either to Jamaica or do something because I had the little money to do so. So I was going to actually treat myself to a real vacation. Well, nigga, I'm going to Jamaica via YouTube this year. So
I'm so sorry. Man. Like I got like me and my girl got to go to the Caribbean like when I first started my day job a couple years ago. And we lucked out like because damn near everything happened to stop that trip and we got to go. And we both looked at each other like, thankful as shit because the other day the Bahamas said America can't come. Do you have any idea how much money it has to, or how big of a deal COVID is for Bahamians to be like, nah, son, y'all stay y'all asses over there, stay on the boat.
Everybody is like, there is not a single country, and the problem is, here's the biggest issue. I don't think people get with this. It's not just, it's because of certain states, the country as a whole is getting looked like this. So you could be in a city because like, yeah, there's certain states that have explosions, but you could be in a city that has nothing. But because you are an American citizen, you can't go nowhere. Like you gotta ride it out in this bitch. And
you know what it is? Like the same way as a black man, we'll get lumped up with like those thugs they have in their mind, those predators. The whole world is looking at us right now as those those cats that was yelling at all the cops about like not being able to get their haircut.
Yeah.
Like whole world is lumping all
to
of
the
us
whole to the whole world. We're those protesters. We're those Huntington Beach people.
exactly.
Stargirl, have you checked out Stargirl yet?
I have not.
Bro, you've got it. When I tell you the beautiful, even though it's leaving off of the DC universe, what they did with Stargirl was they gave it an HBO Max film budget, and you can tell it's done well. And this most recent episode gets you so emotional. Y'all can check my review up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. The review is up there, as well as Doom Patrol, man. I'm just going to say one thing about the recent episode of Doom Patrol. The sex ghosts are back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the sex ghosts are the new normal around these pieces. That is up as well with Winston A. Marshall on the channel. I think that is all the regular Marvel and DC news I got now. So I got a lot of emails, questions, and everything from the Mad Titan Podcast hotline. So we finna get into all these emails I got right now, all right? So 818-276-6947, 818-276-6947. If you want to get your calls in, you can email me, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. This past week has been locked and loaded, so I'm going to answer them. Corey's here with me. Let's go first. Shouts out to Joe Crack, who's a member of the Supervillain Squad. This is his email. He says, "Hey, Jay and possible guests. Hope things are going well or well enough for y'all. With Doom Patrol on HBO Max and Stargirl going to CW, what do you think the future of DC Universe is? I know there's supposed to be another season of Young Justice, but not sure what else is on the horizon. It feels since the beginning it's been a struggle, and not having all of the DC movies and shows ever made really has to be hurting it. Thoughts?"
Here's the thing for me. Like, it's hard for me to answer this one because not only have I not really been paying attention to DC TV shows, I don't really have cable. So I've just been kind of like Hulu and Netflixing it. But as far, and you know me, whenever it comes to like DC, I'll be like, their animation is stellar and their live action is trash. But you told me their TV shows are pretty like closer to the animation side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll trust your judgment on that. I haven't seen Stargirl. I haven't seen Doom Patrol. I'm interested, but I need to take a look.
Well, so here's my thing with that. I think DC Universe as a whole has been a struggle. Yeah. I think its biggest mistake was coming out with its own separate platform, knowing that HBO Max was on the horizon. Mm-hmm. I think people figured like, yo, why am I going to get DC Universe when HBO Max is going to come out, which more than likely will include it. Mm-hmm. I feel like Young Justice will become an HBO Max show. I think everybody will become HBO Max shows. Like, it is what it is. But I think DC Universe is just going to eventually fold. They're holding on as best they could. You see, they got rid of DC Daily. Yeah. It wasn't drawing what they wanted it to. So it was a thoughtful effort, but poorly executed.
The biggest mistake was trying to copy Marvel, period. It's like you rushed everything that Marvel did in 10 years. You tried to do in like 4.
Yeah, but then, like I said, more specifically, when it comes to the platform, Disney Plus encompassed everything. There isn't a separate Marvel app, you know what I'm saying, to see the Marvel movies and TV shows. It's all in Disney Plus. So you should have just had DC Universe get absorbed by HBO Max in the beginning. Then it would have made people go say, okay, cool. There's a DC Universe section on HBO Max. All we got to do is get HBO Max. And I think that wouldn't have been an issue.
Or better yet, just get absorbed by what Marvel got absorbed by. Just be part of Disney, you know?
Well, but HBO Max, all of that's Warner, no matter what. So,
okay,
it's all Warner. Yeah, it's all Warner Brothers. Well, Warner Media, excuse me. But thank you.
Like that. That's kind of like the Pepsi to the Coke.
Yeah. So thank you for your email, Joe. Let's go to my next question. From this is a wild ass question. This is from Clinton Opera, who says, "Which of the following actors would you cast as Jon Stewart? Kofi Sirobe, Eli Gorey, Winston Duke, Henry Simmons, Tristan Wiles, Corey Hawkins, John Boyega, Trevante Rhodes, Lance Gross, Aldous Hodge, Jay Ellis, or Michael B. Jordan?"
To be clear, Jon Stewart is the Green Lantern, right?
Yes, the Black Green Lantern.
Yeah. Ooh. I heard a couple names. John Boyega sounds interesting. The first name I heard, though, was Winston Duke. That would be a good one.
Well, here for me, so Jon Stewart needs to be a little bit older, a little bit weathered. He needs to have this look as if he's been through it. Henry Simmons has played Mac on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I didn't really care much for him as Mac. That's the whole thing. Corey Hawkins is just, he's not right for it for me. John Boyega, I think we want to shoehorn him in as the Green Lantern. Yeah. I don't know if it would work. I think we just want to shoehorn him into one of these universes. Yeah. Trevante Rhodes seems like he'd work.
Who's that?
The dude from Moonlight.
Oh, okay.
Trevante Rhodes would work. Lance Gross would work. Aldous Hodge doesn't work for me. Jay Ellis is too small. Michael B. Jordan's already tied up. Yeah. So I would go more so Trevante Rhodes personally. But thank you for your email. So Jason Fry, here's another email. It says a Fantastic Four question. He says, hey, longtime fan, wanting to pull your leg today. There have been lots of rumors about the Fantastic Four, but as a huge Von Doom fan, I feel when he is put into the MCU, he should have his tech and magic origins like in the comics. Do you think the mutation route would be the best way, like in the past, or should they finally introduce someone to give Doctor Strange a run for his money? Thanks in advance for your feedback. So first of all, Jason, this is a dope-ass question. I've always said, why can't we have the Victor Von Doom who is tech and magic? That's what makes Von Doom so powerful.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My take on it is like, I like the idea of when he said Doctor Strange, like I like the idea of like having him as like the villain in a Doctor Strange movie and then introducing the Fantastic Four versus like they always do a Fantastic Four movie and they always fuck it up. How about this have to be ancillary?
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you how the movies have been, but I think that Marvel Studios would pay more reverence to it and wouldn't fuck it up like we've seen in the past. Yeah. My problem is Doom should not just be a strange villain. Dr. Doom is powerful enough to be a Thanos level villain.
Ooh.
He's powerful enough to be your big bad for the entire culmination of whatever story you're going to do. So you definitely should have magic and tech introduced, but you need to figure out how to introduce him where he's an ancillary character, but he's an ancillary character building up to something major.
I have an idea. How about you introduce like the Mandarin as the actual Mandarin, since they just did it as like they teased it in Iron Man 3, which I'm one of the people that felt like that was actually kind of cool. Like they teased it as like a terrorist thing, but then actually have a guy that's the Mandarin and then be him working for Dr. Doom. And then
I think we're going to see that in Shang-Chi. I think we're going to get the actual Mandarin in Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings.
Nice.
So we're getting that.
Because you said the Legends of the Ten Rings. That's what the Mandarin is.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah.
Like, well, there you go.
All right, let's go to the next question from the homie Fred Castillo, who's a member of the Supervillain Squad as well. He says, hello, Mr. J. I've been enjoying your podcast and YouTube vids, so I'm excited to see what's next. I know a good storyline and screenplay is key to a successful movie, but I was wondering what you think. Between the two universes, who has the best movie lines? One of my favorites is from Age of Ultron when Bruce says, I'm caught in a time loop. This is where it all went wrong. Thanks for taking my email and have a great day. Greatest lines. I think one of the greatest lines ever came from a DC movie. And I would have to say it's The Dark Knight. Either you're the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest lines ever.
Including also some men just want to watch the world burn.
And some men just want to watch the world burn. So I think DC, because of how dark and how serious it gets, don't get me wrong, we get some great lines, some great, things out of it. But I think that in regards to the DC universe, the way it's structured and written, sometimes you get some of the best quotables ever. So hopefully that answers your question, Fred. Again, thank you.
I will say I want to give an honorable mention to Just Deadpool for quotes, like just sheer amount and memorability. Ryan Reynolds was born for that.
What does it taste like? Mama June on a hot Sunday on a hot summer.
It looks like an avocado.
Avocado. You look like a topographical map of the state of Utah.
Like you are the stuff of nightmares.
You are the stuff of nightmares. I got another email here from JL Phillips. His subject is the multiverse. JL says, what's good, Jay? First, I have to say that you, that dude, and then Winston, to tell Winston to stay off the meth. It's a pre-workout thing he was taking. Okay. But he says, but in all seriousness, with the rumors of there being multiple Batmans being signed right now, and the rumor of Affleck coming back, as you well think DC should forget about chasing Marvel, trying to do it their way. But wait, do you think? Oh, okay. When Ben Affleck come back as well, there was no comment. Do you think DC should forget about chasing Marvel and try to do it their way, but instead go dark with the multiverse? Or do you think that would be too much for your everyday fan to follow? J.L. Phillips II. First off, appreciate the love, and I'll definitely tell that to Winston. Secondly, I've always said DC needs to forget about what Marvel is doing and do their own goddamn thing.
Absolutely.
I've always said that. I believe that to the fullest.
Yeah, 100%. Like they Marvel got their own thing and it works. And if DC keeps trying to catch up, it's always going to be shitty. And I felt like they were doing a good job casting their movies and a horrible job writing their movies because they kept trying.
That's a great way to look at it. It's a great way to look at it.
They kept trying to do it in a way that was chasing Marvel. Henry Cavill is an amazing Superman. Like he looks the part. He acts the part. He's easy to CGI apparently. like he's perfect for the role. He was born to play. Like Ben Affleck is like, even not only was he a good Batman for the look, like even for the pictures, like jaw to jaw, like that was the perfect juxtaposition.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Like they were both in shape. They both look like they were ready to go. Like he looks like he's been Bruce Wayne for the last 20 years. Like it works. So like it was just a shitty written movie. Like the action in Batman vs Superman made me sad because I was like, okay, you know what you're doing. You just fucked it up. Like you know how to make a good movie. You just didn't.
Like the fucking thing, everything is right there for you and you fucked it up.
Yeah, like Batman's killing people, and I don't care. Like that's how good of a job. Like you just broke that dude's neck. Don't give a shit because it's the first thing that made sense in the last 35 minutes. So I'm losing my train of thought, but just with everything with DC, I just want them to like really just focus on getting one thing right and then build on the next thing. Like they did a decent enough job with Aquaman. They did a good to great job with Wonder Woman, even though it was pretty much Captain America. They did a great job with
Shazam.
Yeah.
I love Shazam.
Yeah, exactly. So like they know how to make a good movie. They just rush it or they throw money at the wrong shit and they just bastard. They have better storylines. They just fuck them up. Like they could be beating Marvel just by like for a long time, The Dark Knight was a better movie than anything Marvel had.
Yes, it was.
Period. So like they just need to focus on doing shit like that. Like that was
also you gotta have. Also, you have these directors though. You had an incredible director in Christopher Nolan, and you allowed him to tell a story. And I know people will go back to that and they'll compare that to, well, you didn't allow Zack Snyder to tell his story. I think the only difference is in this situation, the story Zack Snyder wanted to tell wasn't in line with the plan that Warner Brothers had.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I'm saying? Because Warner Brothers knew, they were like, we got to catch up to Marvel and we need to do it this way. But Zack Snyder had a plan of a darker version of DC, which DC is darker by nature anyway. And so that's where things fell off.
Yeah, and DC has to be darker because like all their superheroes are literal legitimate gods. You know what I mean? So like you gotta have people, there's gotta be high stakes, people gotta die, built like planets gotta explode. Shit happens in this shit. But they're like never willing to do it. Like Justice League was so goddamn corny. Justice League would have been a bad video game, much less a movie.
Ooh, you are so right, sir. You are so goddamn right.
Like you could have did so much better. Like the Avengers. The worst Avengers movie was 10 times better than that shit.
And I'm waiting on the comments for that one. Let's move on to the next question.
I said what I said.
My next email from Steven Smith. He says, with Disney purchasing Fox, eventually we will get an X-Men reboot introduction to the MCU. There's been a lot of discussion about Magneto and changing his origin story. My question is A, is it possible that an X-Men story can take place before the time jump in Endgame, i.e. Captain Marvel, Captain America? And B, Would an X-Men story work without introducing Magneto as the initial villain, a la Batman Begins? Would love to hear your thoughts. My issue with that is the only issue would be is Marvel Studios has shown that every introduction movie we see to a character, pretty much, we're always going to get their main antagonist first and foremost out the gate.
Yeah.
We're always going to get their big bad. They know the known number one big bad out the gate. It is the way it is. You're just always going to get that opposite rival to everybody out the gate. And I agree that there are a bunch of other villains for the X-Men, but all the other villains, they all take long origin stories. Yeah. Well, not long, they take development. Like, you can't just jump to Mr. Sinister. You could, but you got to tell the story of Nathan Essex, but then you have to do that after you do the X-Men or do that before the X-Men, something like that. As far as putting it with the time jump, I'm so interested to see how they're going to play this, because you can't tell me, I've said this before numerous times on this show and other shows, you are not going to be able to tell me that mutants have been around the whole goddamn time and allowed the planet to get attacked by aliens in 2010 or 12, whatever that was. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me mutants was here and then they just watched on TV like, yo, they is fucking shit up. Like, you just can't.
I feel like you have to completely distance the Fox canon from what the MCU is going to be with, like, almost Spider-Man and the X-Men, because it's so muddled and there's been so much that's gone on. And I just want it, like, just me personally, I want X-Men to get back to where it was as cool or makes as much sense as it did as a cartoon when I was a kid.
Well, I think they are going to distance, but sorry to cut you off, but I think they are. I think we can automatically say, first and foremost, the Fox shit doesn't matter anymore. Okay. Anything Fox did doesn't matter anymore. It's nothing that's going to carry over.
Yeah. So, like, with the however they're going to.
As a whole, ladies and gentlemen, let me clarify that, because yes, Evan Peters will be reprising his Quicksilver role probably for the multiverse thing with WandaVision, but nothing as a whole general focus on storyline. So
yeah, I'm like, didn't they kill him in one of the Avengers movies? So, like, and why
did they killed one Quicksilver? They killed one Quicksilver in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I was like, but they didn't even need to do that. Like, that felt unnecessary in that movie.
Yeah. It felt hella. They're like, yo, y'all just gonna kill this nigga? Like, okay.
And he's fast enough to have gotten away from that.
They're like, no, nigga, you ain't that quick. We gonna slow your ass down.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as like the X-Men, like, okay, so Fox aside, the question is, can they start they're redoing the origin story for Magneto?
Can they redo it? Basically, the question is, can they redo it? Let me go back to it because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Would an X-Men story work without introducing Magneto as the initial villain?
Yes, I think it would,
because basically the Joker wasn't the initial villain in Batman Begins.
Yeah, or like there was no Venom or Doc Ock or who was the first one in the new Spider-Man the new Spider-Man with Tom Holland? They had
there was no Green Goblin at first. There was it was a Vulture, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have his arch nemesis. You know what I mean? So like the X-Men have a lot of other ones you can kind of do before you have to bring Magneto in, and then by that time you got plenty of time to figure it out. You know,
I say go straight. I say if you're gonna do that, if you're not gonna do the initial villain as Magneto, go ahead and make the villain the Sentinels. Go right out the gate. Exactly. Go right out the gate, because the MCU likes to pride itself on somewhat mimicking what we go through into today's society. Go right out the gate with the Mutant Protection Act. Let's go right. We already got the Sokovia Accords. Let's go one step further.
That's perfect.
Let's go one step further. I appreciate your email, Steven. I got one call from the Mad Titan Podcast hotline. I'm gonna go to that call right now.
What's good, Jay? It's your boy Milton from Pennsylvania. Real quick, brother. So I'm actually listening to the Michael Rosenbaum podcast, and aka The Flash. During his podcast, he talked about how his behavior during parts of season 1 and 2, issues with directors or castmates, and I believe you might have mentioned this. It might have been a beef between him and Keenan Lonsdale at one point. If you know anything about that, can you talk about it? And also, too, are there any news or any juicy stories that you might have about cast members from other DC or Marvel shows that hasn't come to light or that has come to light when it comes to how they conduct themselves with their castmates or directors? All right, bro. Super villain all day. Holla at your boy. Peace.
Milton, thank you always for your call, bro. I appreciate it. First off, too, I've been telling y'all for the longest that Grant Gustin had issues. People had issues with the cast with Grant Gustin because of the first 2 seasons. Now, has it continued? I might have heard some things. I don't know if it's for sure. Have I heard anything new? I have not heard anything yet. Anything I've heard, you all have heard already. Let's just say that. When it comes to his issues with Keenan Lonsdale, that was something I've heard about, and I think it was the fact he didn't want a secondary speedster as a mainstay on the show. Now, I may be wrong. So don't quote me on like, yo, that was why Jay said the reason Keenan Lonsdale didn't work out as Wally West was because Grant Gustin didn't want another speedster being the same one. But I know they had some beef. I don't know full details of it. But I have, like I said, it had been recorded about that. I'd heard about Stephen Amell back in the day. So, I mean, there are always going to be issues with somebody on the cast, no matter what the show is, no matter what. And it may not always be the star of the show. So there are different things. But had you ever heard any of those stories, Corey, about like some of these cast members being assholes, for lack of better words?
Nope. No, not these particular castmates. I've definitely heard of it on other shows, but like not in this sense.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that's the thing. I haven't heard anything yet, Milton, of course, but as always, y'all already know when I find out something, y'all find it out because I always drops jewels and gems here on Mad Titan, man. And so I think that about wraps it up for everything I got this week on the Mad Titan podcast. Thank you all for rocking with your boy, Cory Showtime Robinson, my dude, my man, my G. I appreciate you for hanging out with your boy. Before I let you go ahead and tell the people out there how they can get in touch with you and find you.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Cory Showtime. That's Cory Showtime. Check me out on Amazon Prime Video, $40 till Friday. You ain't got nothing else to do. Watch my special, please. And if you're into the gaming world, I'm streaming on Twitch, Shot Your Mama 323 with other funny people as we get our asses killed by teenagers on Call of Duty Warzone.
And don't forget to check them out on the Showtime and Kev podcast, man, when that comes out.
Yeah, got to plug that.
Definitely, you know what I'm saying? Check that out. Hey, for me, again, Corey, I appreciate you. Y'all already know the drill. Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington by now. If you don't, something is wrong with your life. Join my Patreon, the Supervillain Squad on Patreon. Y'all hear me give love to patrons all day, every day. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Again, if you just want to show some general support per month, it's a minimum of $5. And what that does is, again, you help me with the productions back at the crib with the lights and the equipment and stuff because I need to get new cameras. The cameras I have are terrible and I need to upgrade those. But also, you are a producer of this show because without you, there is no me. And so that is something I give you all. And if you join my $25 and up tier, it's my one-on-one with the supervillain where it's, Luis Torres said it best, it's like a meet and greet. But here's the difference with this meet and greet. You know, most times you do a meet and greet, you sit with somebody for 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, if that. You barely even sit with them. You just go up, shake their hands, take a picture, say something real quick, and you done. This one, we sit up for an hour or so talking about whatever you want to talk about. It's not what I want to talk about. It's whatever you want to talk about. It's unfiltered. It's candid. It's raw. We have fun. I have been enjoying all of them. The newest one of my squad members, Jim Payne, will be coming up soon, and I'm about to record another one today with one of the members of the squad. And speaking of the members of the squad, I want to give all of them love. Shout out to my newest members, the homie Chauncey Woodson, who has joined at the 101 with the Supervillain tier. Thank you, brother, for joining. Shout out to the homie Jay Breezy, who joined, who is also... That's another thing about the Supervillain Squad. You also get access to the Supervillain Discord. That's where all the members of the squad can talk one-on-one. I know a lot of times when we leave comments on videos and different things, there's a buffer and a delay from when I get it, you see it, or all these things. It's happening right then and there. The conversations are going. We got so many different things we're talking about. Of course, we talk about Marvel, DC, anime, non-comic book, artwork, memes, my stuff. We got a section just for barbershop talk. We just in there chopping it up and more. So when you become a member of the squad, you automatically get a part of the Discord as well. And so again, Jay Breezy's one of my moderators over there on the Discord. Thank you for joining the squad and becoming a moderator as well. And to my existing members of the squad, Adam Collins, Alberto Rios, thank you for again being a member of the 101 tier. Adelia Chamberlain, Ashley King, AZ Badfish, Brian Kimmett, Brandy Parker, Brock Severson, California Joe, Cheryl Corman, Christopher Conley, Casanaccia Lobe, Dan Bemke, David Adams, David Gaines, Deontay Clements, Dizzle, DJ Snacks, Edward Wilshire, Fanboy Cantina, Fillmore Pockets, Fred Castillo, Greg Morrissey, Hank Staley, Hillary Nellums, Jake Icavetta, James Smart, Jared Simpson, Jason Inman, Jeff Dorn, Jim Mason, Jim Payne, thank you for being a member at the 1-on-1 with the Super Villain tier. Joe Crack, John Mariano, John Lestrina, Justin Square, Christy Oliveria, Kyle Grandinetti, LK, Luis Torres, thank you for joining at the 1-on-1 tier. Marcus Kennedy, Marcus Burton, Mikey Moore, Mikey Leto, Paisley Darts, Randy Constance, Raul Alejandro Mendoza, Rudy Rueda, thank you for joining at the 1-on-1 with Super Villain tier. Samir Tisfai, thank you for joining at the 1-on-1 with Super Villain tier. Steve Tozen, the Prince That Wasn't Promised, and Travis Earl, thank you all for being supporters, believing in me, and members of the squad. I appreciate and love you all. Of course, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY-Washington80. All of my reviews are up there. Stargirl goes up there weekly. Doom Patrol is up there. Film reviews are up there. There's so much more. Some people are listening to the Mad Titan podcast on YouTube. It's all there. What else is there? That's that. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday live, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Winston A. Marshall. The youtube.com/Blurs in the Hood channel and twitch.tv/Blurs in the Hood. That's BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. So YouTube, Twitch, Blurs in the Hood. Game time every Monday with John Roca and Winston A. Marshall on the Roca Says on John Roca's The Outlaw YouTube channel. And I think that's about it for now. If I forgot anything, y'all already know I'll pick it up later. But thank you guys for checking out episode 69. It's so funny. 69 of the podcast. Sincerely, man, I appreciate you all. Love you all. I will holler at you guys next week. Till then, take care. I'm out. Bye.
Peace.